Welcome, my friends, to the Horror Syndicate's Werewolf Weekly show. Uh, Doing it on a Friday night this week. I'm Seth. I'm obsessed with werewolves, and I'm here to talk about them. The purpose of the Werewolf Weekly show is to talk about every single werewolf movie and book or whatever possible. And tonight I'm covering Ginger Snaps, a early 2000s Canadian horror film. Um, I don't have my notes on. Uh, it was written direct. I think it's directed by John Fawcett. Uh, he co-wrote it with, or him and damn it, I can't even think of the name of the writer. Doing good. Anyway, it stars Catherine Isabel, Emily Perkins, Chris Lemche, and Mimi Rogers. It is set in a small town called Bailey Downs, where a wild creature is savagely attacking and mutilating the townspeople's pets. Teenage sisters Ginger and Bridget are morbidly obsessed with death and have a hobby of staging grisly crime scene photo shoots. One night, while out for a shoot, Ginger gets her period. The blood attracts the scent of a werewolf, the creature that has been killing all the people's pets, and she gets attacked uh, and wounded by the werewolf, and her wounds eventually heal, and she begins to experience changes. And as she changes for the worst, her sister Bridget desperately attempts to find a cure for her. So that's the basic summary of it. Uh, so as far as like the pros go, I think this is overall just a really good movie. This is one. This and Dog Soldiers were two werewolf films in the early 2000s that kind of came out of nowhere for me. I saw Dog Soldiers when it premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel several months before it was released on DVD. And Ginger Snaps, I had a buddy who worked at uh, the local Blockbuster, and he, I don't know, they had an extra copy or whatever that he could take, and he gave it to me. He's like, "Hey Miller, here, check it out." And so I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I have to say, I definitely really loved the score for the film. I didn't do my normal prep for tonight, so I can't tell you the name of the composer, but I think particularly the main theme of this movie, I think is really good. Um, I think additionally, it's got a really good story, I think, and I like the way that it kind of, um, the way it's like kind of themed around uh, puberty and all that. I think for the most part, the cast is actually really good in this. I think Catherine Isabel, uh, she definitely stood out because of this film, uh, and uh, her version, like as Ginger, she starts off, she is kind of like more of the tough sister, but then as she's infected and she begins to experience all these changes, she becomes much more dangerous, and I think Catherine Isabel really played that well. Additionally to that, Emily Perkins, I think, is kind of like the standout in this movie, because I think she does a really solid job as Bridget, as the concerned and sort of awkward sister. Uh, I like Chris Lemche in this. I thought he was the character Sam was a cool side character who, you know, kind of, I think it was helpful having a character who kind of like knew and kind of believed in werewolves. So like he believed in what he saw with his van hit in the werewolf. in the beginning, and I liked the way that he was working with Bridget. I liked the way that um, uh, Bridget was, lying to him at first, telling him that it was her that was the one that was bitten, um, to protect her sister. So I like that aspect. um, I think the effects are actually really good in this too. Um, Not just werewolf, but like just in general, like the all the mutilated pets. Uh, Everything looked really good. The gore wise, I think this film is excellent. Um, yeah, so mainly my top pros are the score. Again, I love the score. The acting, pretty much all around. There is a con with one character that I'll get to, and I don't necessarily blame the actor for it. Um, uh, I think it's got good gore, and I think it's got a good story, and it's got some solid themes that just kind of makes this one work. This film doesn't feel like any other werewolf film that you've seen. It's definitely a movie that stands on its own. It's a film that I've always enjoyed, and it is in my top 10 of werewolf films. It's probably like on my ranking list is probably around 8 or 9. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film quite a bit. My As far as cons, I think my only con is it, it's a it's difficult to explain it as a con because there's stuff I like about it, but I don't like the way it was executed. And what I'm talking about is this idea of Ginger uh, basically passing on the curse through sexual intercourse. And she gives it to this one guy who's been kind of like uh, uh, eager to fuck her, right? And he eventually gets it. And, at first it's like this kind of like moment where he's peeing and he starts pissing blood. And then he just kind of becomes such a cartoon character after that. Um, Again, I like the idea of the curse being passed on through uh, unprotected sexual intercourse, but the way it plays out with that character, particularly the last scene with him where he is in broad daylight uh, trying to attack some kid, it's just I don't blame the actor. I don't blame Jesse Moss, but there's just something very over the top about it. It's and another thing that's good about it, of course, it's something where it gives Bridget the opportunity to see where this cure that her and Sam kind of cooked up together does work, or at least in this film, it works. So I understand that, but again, it just for me it just comes down to the execution of it. It just the way that it plays out. I think I would have rather the scene where she tries out the um, the cure on him. I feel like it probably would have been better if it played out at night because it seemed, I don't know, just the broad daylight aspect of it, plus the over the top with his performance. Uh, yeah, I just didn't really care for that very much. That's really my only con. Um, so get into the werewolf related topics to talk about with the Werewolf Weekly show. Identifying the werewolf type. This is a quadrupedal. This is one that's on all fours. Um, and I got a little bit more to say on that. I guess I'll just jump into the next one. Uh, uh, my impressions of the werewolf design. I think effects wise, the werewolf looks cool, but this is not one of my favorite types of werewolves. And it's weird because my favorite horror film of all time is American Werewolf in London, and that one is also a quadrupedal. But um, it's not my favorite type. I don't prefer this type. It's probably like out of the ones that I can identify, you know, I'm definitely more of a bipedal guy. Uh, and then I would probably go with like the more Wolfman type, man wolf hybrid types. Um, so I think the effects are good. The design is unique. Again, this is a werewolf film that doesn't feel like any other werewolf film. It's very uniquely its own movie. And that works in its favor. But the type of werewolf is it's not my favorite. Um, I yeah, and then also, I mean, I guess it's kind of like a mixed thing with me too. This idea of like once you become a werewolf, you can't ever turn back. Um, it's cool in the sense of like when you see Ginger progressively get worse throughout the film. Um, it's cool that it's such a slow transformation. It's a slow metamorphosis for her. But it's yeah. I mean, it's kind of like I guess I would suck if you're a human. Um, Werewolf action. Werewolf action is pretty damn good in this. You know, there's moments where because of editing, there's sometimes it's a little difficult to kind of identify certain things that are happening on screen. But the initial attack on Ginger, um, it looked good as particularly when you saw it come out and be on top of her and wound her, and Bridget comes up behind it and tries to defend her big sister. Um, and then in the third act, I love the third act of this film with Bridget, or not Bridget, but with Ginger being fully transformed, and then you have Bridget and Sam in the house. So over again, I dig this movie quite a bit. It is in my top 10 of werewolf films. Uh, Werewolf transformation. The transformation it's a very slow process, and I'm not talking like American Werewolf in London, slow and painful process, uh, but it all happened uh, in one sitting. This is like an evolution. Like she slowly turns and uh, uh, experiences a metamorphosis over a period of time. It's a very slow, and it's um, it's done pretty damn well. First with her experiencing like some hair uh, growing from her wounds. Getting a tail, um, all that type of stuff. Um, so it's a pretty good uh, pretty good thing. Uh, the transformation with it being slow, it slowly builds to Ginger fully becoming a werewolf, and um, yeah, that's the whole point of it. The sound effects are good. Um, the lore, I wish I knew a little bit more. Um, yeah, so there's this idea that the you get affected by the wolf through a scratch or a bite or through sexual intercourse. You become one. It's a slow process of fully turning into a werewolf, and once you become one, you don't come back from that. So it's got some good stuff in there. And as I was kind of like uh, watching the first movie earlier and thinking about the sequels, which I'll be talking about in the coming weeks. Um, I was like, man, I kind of wish we had this like sort of like companion piece film about the werewolf that ended up attacking and infecting Ginger. Like, what's that werewolf story um, that came to an end when it was struck by Sam's van? You know what I mean? Um, and I hope I mean, that's something. If the filmmakers behind this wanted to get back into this world at some point, I would definitely advocate for a companion piece about. I mean, they could even pull like a Final Destination 5 thing where it's like you don't even know, or even like a Split, where it's like in Final Destination 5, you don't know that it's a prequel until like the very end when the surviving characters get on Flight 180. It's like, holy shit, great moment. They did really good with not even like uh, making it seem like it was a sequel, even though it was a prequel. Or like in the case of like when I mentioned Split, you think it's just its own individual movie, and then at the very tail end of it, you have Bruce Willis's character from Unbreakable show up, and it's like, holy shit, they're connected. Um, you know, it would be kind of cool, right? It's like, oh, the writer and director of the first Ginger Snaps are coming back for a new werewolf movie, and then it's revealed at the end the werewolf transforms, attacks Bridget, and then gets killed, and that's the end of it. I think that would be kind of cool. Um, so they should make that happen. Uh, Final thoughts on the movie. I really dig it. Again, I think it's got a good story. It's got some really good themes um, that make it very story and character driven, and also meaningful with how it pertains to things that happen within puberty, especially with girls. Um, and I think it's the acting is pretty good across the board. Uh, Nothing against Jesse Moss, but his character was a little over the top. And while I do like the idea, again, I like the idea of one of the ways that you can get infected is through, uh, sexual intercourse, and uh, and how he is that example of that, and he's also Bridget's sort of like guinea pig to test out the cure. So this is a very good movie, good effects. Again, I love the score. The theme for this movie is just awesome. Um, and It's in my top 10 of werewolf films, probably around 8 or 9. I have to relook at my list, but I think it's there a little ways because they're definitely. Well, I think this is a great werewolf film, and it's definitely popular for a reason. Clearly, um, it's not. There's many werewolf films that I like a little bit more than it. As far as like the type of werewolf that it is, the quadrupedal, uh, design wise and effects wise, it looks fine. It looks good. Um, I think it's represented well here as being ferocious, as werewolves should be. Werewolves are, in my opinion, they're ideally the most terrifying thing in horror, and a lot of filmmakers don't take that side seriously. Um, uh, Another thing I didn't mention is Mimi Rogers. I think she gives a really fun performance as the mom. Uh, uh, yeah, so she's good in it. Again, effects are really good. Um, Slow werewolf transformation, but I dig it. Um, it this is definitely character, a character movie. Um, and it, it, I do like the continued progression of Ginger as she further progresses into a werewolf, her personality changes and she becomes a little bit more unhinged. And Catherine Isabel did a good job. So yeah, solid werewolf movie, uh, and I like it. So I will get to comments because I see a bunch came in. Alrighty. So, as always, first up is Sean Sheridan. Ginger Snaps. It's a good movie, a clever take on puberty. The girl who plays Ginger, good performance. Girl who plays Bridget, terrible for me. Lets the movie down. So I actually like Emily Perkins as Bridget. I do feel like her acting, I think, gets stronger in the second film. Uh, but I thought she was good in this. It was, her character is supposed to be sort of like meek and awkward and also kind of like uh, attached at the hip of her sister. But I think, she really comes into her own as she continues to attempt to figure things out with Sam uh, about what to do about the werewolf thing. So I don't know. Yeah. For my sins of the Werewolf Syndicate, I watched the sequels. I did not like either of them. Oh, well, you'll have to come by in the coming weeks and let me know why for each and individual one. I liked the sequels. I liked I guess spoiler alert, but I really enjoy Ginger Snaps 2 quite a bit. 3 I think is a good movie, but it's like I don't understand the mindset of making that. Yeah. Uh, King. Uh, we'll just call you King. I'm having trouble reading right now. Says, yo, what's up? What's up? How you doing? What do you think of Ginger Snaps? I'm sure you probably let me know, didn't you? Uh, really interested stories. Yeah. I think it is an interesting story. And like Sean said, it's actually pretty clever. It's I think it's got good writing. Uh, he also says hi. Hello, how you doing? Uh, Gus says hi. How you doing? Yo, guys, let's pay respect to new guys. Yeah. Typically, what I do, like when I do this show, I talk about the movie and all the topics first, and then I get into the comments after. I when I first started doing this, I did it the old school way that we've been doing on the Horror Syndicates channel, where it's like, as we're talking, we pull up comments, but I feel like that kind of like throws off everything. So I decided to stick to 15, 20 minutes of talking about the movie and all the different topics that I came up with for the movie. And then I jump in the comments after. So it does take a bit for me to get to the comments. So, but welcome to the channel in YouTube. Hi, how's it going? And it's a commentary of absent parents, but I find it ridiculous parents did not sense what was going on with their daughters. Yep. Sethy Wethy, the Sethmeister General, the Sethinator, Dark Lord of the Seth, uh, Seth Metaphy, Seth and Spin. Hey, get out of here, dog. How are you? How dare you? Yeah, my good boy. He needs it. He needs all the attention he can get. Right, buddy? Oh, I talked to him. Now he just looked at me. You want to get him say hi? Come here. Yeah, look at the camera. Look at the camera. What? No? You don't want to look at the camera? Who's that? Anyway. Give the dog a kiss on the nose. Yeah, no. Buddy, you're gonna knock my shit over. Here, take your toy and fuck off. Yeah, you're a good boy, but you almost knocked my shit over, pal. I like to dip my ginger snaps into milk and then eat them. Actually thought Bridget was more of the main character. She actually is to a certain extent. You know, it's. I mean, I feel like they're kind of like equal. Actually, and that's the great thing about this film is that the lead characters feel really important in equal ways, and I like it. I like it being focused for a while on Bridget as she's trying to figure out a way to save her sister. Um, and then in between that, we see Ginger as she goes through all these transformations. Um, yeah, I think she's pretty equal. Uh, Seth, what are you drinking? What is natty? It's a natty daddy. Uh, 8% alcohol. Kind of gross, but does the job. You know what I mean? It's cheap beer, but it does the job. Here, get up here. Okay. You want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? Hey, buddy, look. Look. No. What are you doing? You freak. He just wants just to get all the pets right now. He's a good boy. Right, buddy? You're a good boy. Yeah, so anyway, I think I got through all the comments. Buddy, you're going to knock my stuff over again. You can't have that. Stop it. What are you doing? Nutcase. Ugh. Okay, so, yeah, I got through all the comments. Cool. Looks like I shall end this soon, unless anyone has anything else to say. But yeah, going over the movie once again, in case there's anyone here that's a little late to me starting this. Ginger Snaps, solid story, um, unique werewolf film. It's definitely a film that's unlike any other werewolf film that you'll see. I think it stands on its own. It's really good. It's got a great score, great effects, great gore, really good acting, in my opinion, from most of the people. It's a quadrupedal werewolf, not really my thing as far as werewolves go. It is better than, I think traditional looking wolves. So definitely there's that. But um, yeah, it's a top 10 werewolf film for me. Uh, Definitely good all around. And it's well loved and for a damn good reason. So yeah. Does anyone else have anything to say? Have you watched any good werewolf films lately? I'm trying to think of. I watched a couple recently that I thought were okay. Whoop. Another thing that stands on its own. Yeah, you should probably do that, buddy, before you start to smell. You know what I mean? What's up with Sean Sheridan lately? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean with that, buddy. But it's probably because he's Irish, right? Um, yeah. Oh, I am going to. This is what I was going to mention too, because I know Sean wanted me to put together my 2026 list. I'm very close to getting that published on the horrorsyndicate.com. I came up with a list of every werewolf film that I'm going to be covering in 2026. I just got to finalize the list. There was a couple of movies I wanted to move to certain spots. Um, so hopefully this weekend I will complete that list, publish that to the horrorsyndicate.com. So then you can see all the werewolf films that I will be covering in 2026. So I did that. I'm, I think, 4 werewolf movies away from seeing 150. So I've been, trying to work on my ranking article for all of them. And then I've been working on this really cool pitch for a comic book for an independent comic book company called Unparalleled Comics. You should check them out. I'm actually putting together a pitch for 2 books. They don't know it though. Looking at my list here because I keep track of all 2025 horror films that I watch, and in particular the werewolf films. I'm up to like 10. Yeah, I can't find there was something I just watched that was decent. It was called Mark of the Werewolf, and then there was another one called Frenzy Moon. Not great films. Their budgets definitely show, but I think they're fine and they're fun, and yeah, decent at best. There hasn't been a lot of like really great uh, werewolf films over the last couple of years, really. Well, Blackout and Operation Blood Hunt and Werewolves, those 3 stood out. Those are from last year, but there's been a lot of shitty ones, man. It sucks. uh, I don't know. I heard Sean Sheridan is on the lam because he killed some guy last week. Yeah, it happens. Uh, yeah. Any comments about ginger snaps? I will be covering 2 and 3 over the next couple weeks. My initial schedule that I totally screwed up. I was going to cover Werewolves Within and The Wolf of Snow Hollow for the month of December because they're movies with snow in it and stuff. But because I messed up my schedule so much, I'm gonna tack those on to the following year. So for the next couple of weeks, I'll be doing Ginger Snaps 2 Unleashed and Ginger Snaps Back to Beginning. And then after Christmas, I will do my ranking of all 2025 werewolf films that I've seen this year. So yeah, there's that. Alrighty, no other comments. So I hope everyone has a wonderful night. Thanks to anyone who tuned in and commented, even if you trolled. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Do me a favor, give a thumbs up or a like or an emoji, or if you're on the YouTube, subscribe if you haven't already. But have a great night. Beware the moon, and all that happy horse shit.